Hi, so for Jay, I've come up with a lesson plan to help him achieve some of his goals and improve his communication and abilities to communicate with others. The first goal I have is the client will use single words to express wants and needs 80% of the time across 3 sessions. And I have it divided into 3 phases. So, phase one would be single word request, phase two, 2 word requests, and phase three would be the multi-word requests. So once he achieves one, we move on to the next one and slowly build up his ability to communicate. Next, the client will be able to establish joint attention and eye contact while requesting and communicating with 80% accuracy across 3 sessions. So having joint attention and eye contact when requesting is a really good way to even help strengthen the communication abilities, and it's just a part of our social etiquette that we have as people. So improving the skill while he's young will help him immensely as he gets older. The third one I have is the client will react and engage in auditory stimuli and it's in 2 sections. First one, recognizing and responding to his name, and part two, responding to single step directions. So, as stated in the summary before, he does not respond to his name or follow directions very well. So, this is very important part of communication. So, this is something that we're going to be working on. So I have those 3 goals. Some of the evidence-based practice activities that I have. The first one, we're talking about single word requests and 2 word requests. The activity that I have is we're going to be start with expressive language for single words, and we're going to start by giving the client a choice. He can choose between a food or another object. And it just depends which one's more motivating for him to communicate. So you could have 2 different food objects, 2 toys, something like that. So you can label the objects. So have them in each hand. Say this is a ball and this is a car. Would you like the ball or the car? This is the ball. This is the car. And when the child reaches for it, you repeat the name of the item. So if he reaches for the ball, you say this ball, ball. Make sure you're always reinforcing the desired outcome because this will encourage the client to keep doing it. So in the end, you want him to say ball. If he wants the ball, he needs to say ball. But when we're working with choices, we can begin by the gestures and make sure he's comfortable, and then slowly progress to the single words. So it's going to help with his language and vocabulary since he is a little delayed in his communication. It'll also help him learn some vocabulary, and it'll give us an idea if he is able to actually communicate using words, or if he's going to benefit from an introduction of a communication board or a device. It's very early, so it's hard to tell what he needs at this point, but it's something definitely to keep in mind while doing this activity. The next activity that I have is for joint attention. So we can carry those objects over into joint attention, the ball and the car, and we can begin to teach eye contact for the attention, and you can offer him the objects. You can still label them if you would like to, but the point of this one is joint attention and eye contact. So if he chooses the ball, you take the object and bring it towards your eyes, so he's looking at you with the object. And so once he looks at you and you establish that eye contact, then you can go on and give him the ball. So you're going to do this a few times, making sure he's engaged. The other way you can do it is point to the object, point to your eye, point to the object, point to your eye. It just depends which method is working best for you and the client. But then next, you want to move the object further away from your face, so like halfway. So he's looking at the ball, but in the end, you want him to be looking at you and making that eye contact before you give it to him. So you're going to keep rewarding him when he does well, and after he is able to do the ball halfway, move it completely, don't move it. Just keep him in your hands, and when he picks, wait until he makes eye contact with you before you give it to him. This is going to be very good for developing that joint attention and eye gaze. This will help him when he's communicating, when he finally gets the ability to communicate, because eye contact is very important in communication. And lastly, we want to work on his receptive language. Since he is not responding to his name or able to follow directions, that's just something that we need to begin to work on right now. So in order to target receptive language, I would want to use WH questions, but we can begin with his name. So WH question, where is Jay? Who is Jay? And, well, obviously, it's me. I'm right here. Or, since he's very young, it'll be me, here. Very simple word phrases. So that's both targeting the single word utterances, but also the receptive language component of it. So this is a very beneficial task for Jay. You want to make sure you give him the opportunity to respond, give a short respond, and having an expanded expression tool would also be beneficial. You have objects, and you have to ask question on how Jay would use them. So if you give him a ball, you give him a car, how would you use the ball? How would you use the car? And have him demonstrate it. You can do categories and give him instructions on where to put things. So put the car over the ball. Put the ball next to the car. Things like that. And also identifying the function of these objects will help him categorize them better. Give him the instructions. Continue to use his name as much as you can. Jay, can you? Jay, can you do this? Jay, where is? Yeah. So repeating his name over and over again will get him acclimated and really help him remember what his name is. The two cueing strategies that I think are going to be best for him are the gestures. If he is having issues with receptive language, using gestures to help bring his attention back, or showing how things work. You take the car and you move it. You bounce the ball, stuff like that. But then also verbal prompting, giving him hints and really helping bring his attention back to the task, while also giving him some more information if he needs it. So the education and homework for the parents, I think the most important thing right now might be the receptive language. So having him being able to know his name, having the family use his name as much as possible, and giving him positive feedback when he responds to it. When he asks for things, don't give it to him until he uses a single word or makes that eye contact with you. If he's becoming frustrated and will not name the item, try to model what you want for him. I would have this all printed out for the parents, and making sure that the parents understand how to do this with their child, and it'll be very good for him, especially since he'll be able to practice at home when he only has 2 therapy sessions a week. This will definitely help increase his ability to do these tasks that we're asking him to do.